Live in Atlanta, Georgia at the DDP Yoga Performance Center. And DDP, I think one of your success stories is joining us now. Somebody who's gone viral over the last couple of weeks. Butterbean joins us here on Busted Open. Sir, how are you? Actually, let me shake your hand. First time I've ever met you, and
Nice to
you
meet you.
absolutely look fantastic.
Thank you. I've worked hard, and if it wasn't for Dallas, I'd still be in a wheelchair, just getting by, and hopefully I make another year. But it's day by day, and if I didn't keep doing it, I think I'd go back to where I was. So every morning I get up and do my DDP, and I hate to call it yoga because I'm not a yoga kind of guy, and Dallas don't like yoga anyhow. It's hard to explain when they first come to me about wanting me to do it. I'm like, I'm not doing yoga. It's not me. I just can't. But I got to the point I said, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
And then once I got done, I go, this is just like working out. It's awesome. So I mean, people got to get a different attitude about what DDPY really is.
And your video has inspired people, has people talking. Like, step us through, like, when did it start? When did you first hear about it? When did you first talk to Dallas? Like how did it finally start for you? Like, I have to make a change and I have to do this.
Well, a good friend of ours, both Rick Bassman, got a hold of me probably 5 or 8 years earlier and said, look, I want you to try this DDP yoga. Like, I ain't doing yoga. I'm not gonna. And then I got more injured. I was in a wheelchair. I could barely get around. I mean, honestly, I thought I had another year to live.
Oh boy.
And they talked to me into doing a podcast with them. And I really didn't want to do that because I didn't want to do nothing because I had no energy. I mean, it was like life was ending. And we had Dallas on as a guest, and Flex Wheeler, a good friend of mine, goes, Dallas, you got to have Bean on this show. And I said, yeah.
No, they had asked me. They asked me, what do you got coming up next? And I said, well, me and Steve, we're working on a show. It's like a docu-series, like Change or Die. And Flex says, well, what's? No, you said, so what does that mean? I said, well, I don't really know yet.
Exactly. It's just like
we had just started out. I said, we're bringing some people in. It's not going to be a reality show, though. We don't want people arguing and all that shit. If that happens, it does. But that's not what our goal is. It's just like when we shot Resurrection with Jake and Scott. We were there to help try to resurrect those guys, get them back on track. And that's what to me it was all about. And then Flex went into a whole thing. Oh, bro, you gotta have Butterbean. If you're gonna do that, Butterbean, he needs a bed and
he needs help.
So that's really where it all started.
And I was at the point right then, like, I'll do anything. Even I'll do yoga. I mean, but once I got there, I'm going, this is just working out and doing it the correct way and learning. Everybody needs help with something. I just didn't know what to do. I give it everything I had. I give all my effort. And the one thing it really did for me and everybody else that's give up hope, you got to start believing in yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing it did. The story you tell yourself is what's going to end up.
How long ago was it that you were in a wheelchair? How long ago was that?
It's been less than 2 years ago. I was in there for over 3 years.
That's amazing.
I couldn't walk. I mean, I was hunched over like a scary movie or something. It was crazy. I was inducted in the Alabama Hall of Fame, Boxing Hall of Fame. I did not go. I was that embarrassed.
And see, it's amazing. And the reason I bring that up is watching you walk into this performance center this morning, walking in, smile on your face, like, because it gets me a little choked up because 2 years ago you're in a wheelchair, basically, like you said, waiting to die. And now I'm sure it's like a new lease on life where you feel like you can do just about anything.
I was just looking for a reason to live.
Oh,
and grandkids are one thing. That's about the only thing that kept me going is my family and my grandkids. And now it's like routine. I get up in the morning, I do my DDPY. I can spend and play with the grandkids. And one of my grandkids, I'm teaching him how to box. I could never done that before.
DDP, for you, when you were faced with this challenge, like, and you've had a lot of challenges in front of you, did you look at this like, I don't know? Like,
I did. I mean, I was like, that's what I was saying in the beginning. I literally was like, I didn't know. And the way he walked in, because sometimes putting the crutches underneath his arms would hurt him. So he'd take the crutches in his hands and walk like a crab. And that's what I saw. And like I said, I looked at Steve and I'm like, man, how are we going to help him? Like, I didn't know he was this injured. And he just said, imagine if we can, but what if we can? And I also have an unbelievable team, and Steve being the president of my company. But we have so many great people who work with us. And when it came down to when I can't be there, a very, very close now is like my brother, Josh Nair. He spent a lot of time, like the brunt of the hours, not with just Bean, but also Marcus, and then, the other people, CC, that really wanted to put the work in and had great results. He really helped out a lot. So, there was a brotherhood. If you see the video, you'll see Josh there. He's one of my master trainers. And so, we got together, but Josh would take care of a lot of when I was on the road,
And it seemed like, and we're going to have a lot of guests on today, and every story is different, right? But it felt like when I'm watching that video with you, that you wanted to change. Like, this is something that you wanted to do. Like, this is something that you had will for.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing somebody has to do. You got to, like I say, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to do it. And I was jumping in, during the show, everybody had their own issues. So Josh, the master trainer he was talking about, good friend of mine now too, would customize, because you got to make it your own. Some things I couldn't do for the first, most of it, I couldn't get out of the chair. Everything I did was in a chair. And I would jump in on other people's workouts just because I was determined to make myself better. And if you got that drive, you can accomplish anything. That's why I want to have one more fight, just to prove to the world.
Wow. That's really that's really what this is all about. Like, when I broke my back and came back from, and wrestled and had an unbelievable run. When I left wrestling, because I almost broke my neck in WWE, and it was just, I didn't want to be there anymore at that time. I went to Hollywood, did the acting thing, got a couple movies, a couple shows, but this is what I was focusing on. And then when I turned 50, that's when I came back into the TNA stuff, because I wanted to show him what I could do. That's what Bean really wanted to do. And at some point it clicked, and he started to think, God, I think there's a chance I could do it one more time. And he wasn't in the shape here that he is, because you have to understand, he had a hip that was really bad. And the doctors wouldn't, until he got under 300 pounds, and they all came down to BMI, weight.
And loosen up the muscles.
Yes.
They were so tight that they go, even if you lost the weight, we can't do the surgery because your muscles are going to still be stuck.
Oh,
but
yes. So Dr. Kim, who also worked on Scott Hall, he was there, and he's like, Bean, and he was a fan, really good guy. He's like, you got to lose more weight. And it was hard, because this cat hasn't been 300 pounds since he was in 8th grade.
Yeah. I never fought under 315.
wow.
I mean, so right now,
you fought at freaking 350 a lot, and look,
I was at 400 and fought a lot. People don't realize that heavy, but yeah, I fought over 400. The heaviest I fought, I think, was 450.
Wow.
I actually fought.
And I tell Dr. Kim, I'm like, Doc, this cat's like Fred Flintstone. He's only going to lose so much, And the bottom line is, when he went in for surgery, and they waited on kilograms, and you'll see it in the video. You'll see you go from 137 kilograms, whatever. And Steve, of course, does.
And we're like, what is that?
Yeah, what does that mean? It was 298 pounds.
Good for you.
Gotten under the 300.
Good for you.
Yeah. And what are you weighing now, man?
Right now, I'm about 280, 285.
It's great. That's so good for you. Wow.
So when I do fight again, because I'm determined I'm going to do it just to prove to myself.
Yeah.
And everybody else that's lost hope. If you have the determination and you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything you want to do. Not to be president, but anything like in reality.
Yeah. I mean,
you can do it.
Listen, and I'm sure there were times when you were in that chair, you look back at your career, and it's it's got to be heartbreaking to know where you were and where you are at that point. But think about it right now that you're actually saying, you're not saying maybe, you're saying when I get back into the ring. I mean, that's amazing. That's a miracle.
I'd say the prime of my fighting career, I'm in better shape now than I was anytime any of my fights.
You're training way harder now.
Oh, much harder.
And we brought in Anthony Agogo, who is a bronze medalist, in boxing, who also wrestles at AEW. He's about to do a comeback right now. But, there's no better person who knows boxing better than him. So he had someone to train with for a long period of time as well. So, he's ready, So Rick Bassman's the one trying to get it out there. And anybody who wants, just go to
rickbassman.com.
Okay, just go to rickbassman.com. And that's RICK Bassman, BASSMAN. BSSMAN. So so that's the goal, to get him out there one more time and leave. And that's what we did. If you remember Resurrection of Jake the Snake, that just Jake to be able to leave on his own terms and go back and have like that one more match and feel good enough to be able to really give what the fans what they wanted.
And have the pride in himself enough to walk up to that platform and accept going into the Hall of Fame, or, just to have those moments that probably, let's face it, 4 or 5 years earlier, they wouldn't give him that opportunity because he was so unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
Or if he even showed up.
Right.
And then now it's like, that it's a completely different story. Just like you're going into a Hall of Fame, and you were so embarrassed that you didn't even go. And now you can accept those accolades because you had one hell of a career. I mean, your name is known. Your name is known in boxing circles. Your name is known in pro wrestling circles. For a time there, you were a household name. I mean, that,
Appreciate that.
That is pretty cool.
The one problem I'm having now, though, I do a personal appearances and things like that. And the biggest problem I'm having right now is people coming up, where's Butterbean?
Where do you go?
They don't believe that's actually me. They go, Butterbean's not in your kind of shape. He's a lot bigger than you are. They just don't believe it's actually me.
But at some point, and you want to have that one more fight, but I guess even like offensive linemen in football, you can't maintain that weight once your athletic career is over. At some point, you have to lose that weight. That's a lot of weight to carry around.
Well, I never wanted to weigh that much. I mean, I've always tried to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't. I don't know why. I mean, I ate healthy. I wasn't
Wait a minute.
No, I did eat healthy.
No, you did when you were cutting for a fight.
Right, but I mean, I didn't eat junk food.
Right.
Like a lot of people think I would. Or now it's unbelievably different the way I've changed my whole diet and everything. It's not, I don't diet. During the whole program with Dallas, I never went hungry, not one time. A lot of times I was giving stuff back.
Yeah. Now, this is a pro wrestling show, Busted Open. Talk about your time working in pro wrestling. I mean, being,
Poor Bart gun.
I mean,
Poor Bart.
It's, but like that time, and there's been, documentaries about that whole series of, actual fights in a WWF ring. At the time, did you look at that and say, man, this is a really bad idea? And did they underestimate what you were going to do once you had the opportunity to be in the ring?
Well, I thought my impression, they wanted me to beat him pretty bad. But where it all started with him is I stole Sable from Mark Miro originally. That was my first intro into pro wrestling. And in the whole skit, they had a chair that was rigged up to blow apart. Well, Mark grabbed the wrong chair. He hit me with it 3 times.
Oh my God.
And it actually broke.
You got a hard head, bro.
But bro, like when you first heard about Brawl for All and knowing your involvement in that, like what was your reaction to being a part of that?
I thought it was great. I mean, honestly, Bart is a tough dude. He's not a joke fight. I mean, he's legitimately a tough guy. He actually went on and fought a lot of big names and beat them afterwards. But what he did, he went and trained to be a professional fighter. And that the realm of the rules that they had, 3 1-minute rounds, you just got to throw punches. your whole goal is to knock the guy out.
Yeah.
And Vinny, the referee, I don't know if you're familiar with Vinny very much. He broke his neck, and he come back and won a world title. So he's a tough guy. So when I knocked Bart down the second time, he should never let the fight go on. Bart was out of it.
Yeah,
And
you must have been standing there saying, "Please stop this," right?
no, I wasn't. Just to be honest, I'm going, yeah, let him come one more time. I'll finish it off good.
But when you walked into the world of pro wrestling, like, what were your thoughts about it? Were you a fan of it? Did you know a lot about the world of pro wrestling? Like,
yeah, I watched it when I was younger. I did, and I enjoyed wrestling. I love it. I mean, it's great, entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's more fun to be part of.
but what was your like respect of it? Like, did you know, like, because here you are, a legit boxer, you're a knockout artist. Like, what were your thoughts going in when you were walking into that world? Like, what was your perception of the pro wrestlers themselves?
Well, my match was a lot different than a lot of others,
Yeah.
But it was the adrenaline rush you get is like any high a person could ever have when you go out there, and the crowds, boxing crowds get big. Unless you go to Japan, they're big, but they're not loud. Wrestling fans, they'll let you know. And that was one of Bart's downfalls. What really pissed me off going to the ring, because I was the fat dude. Oh, that wrestler's gonna kill you. I mean, that's all I heard, even from like The Rock. He's one of the few that actually thought I was gonna win. Stone Cold thought I was gonna lose. They were debating, fighting between themselves. But but it was just all that negativity towards me. I took it out on Bart.
Wow. I mean, that's a big motivational factor, right?
Yeah, when they started hollering the fat kid and go back home and things like that when I'm going to the ring, I did have some fans hollering for me, but majority of Bart was the hero.
I wouldn't want to have been Bart Gunn in that moment.
It was not good for Bart.
No. You talk about motivation. Your motivation about having one more fight, getting in the ring and having one more fight. Perfect scenario. Where would you want that to be for you?
I'm not sure. Vegas would be a great spot, or, I don't want it to be an exhibition fight. So I'm thinking they might have to go to Dubai. I want a real fight. I don't want an exhibition fight like Tyson did with Roy Jones. You can't knock him out. I want a real fight. And Tyson, I'd love to fight him, because that fight should have happened a long time ago. But one thing that kind of delayed that fight was I had a real big punch, knocked out a guy named Louis Monaco. He ended up knocking out Buster Douglas, Kevin McBride.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them knocked Tyson out. So they didn't want me near Tyson. They knew the one thing I was dangerous was my power.
And one shot could end it all.
Especially from a big guy like me. I still got the same power, but I'm a lot faster and smaller now.
I want to thank you for coming here and being a part of the show this morning. Seeing that video, we're going to be posting it at Busted Open Radio, because I really think everybody needs to see it. And to see your motivation, I know DDP has inspired you, but this video has inspired a lot of people.
I've got tons of letters, and I'm trying to do like Dallas done for me, help them out and encourage them. And, and my thing is, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't think you can do it, you're not gonna. You have to want to do it.
Oh, and DDP, so yesterday at the house, I did the cold plunge. Right. And I have never done that before. Like, I never did it. And when he first mentioned it, I was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not, there's no way I'm going in that water. And then he said to me, he goes, well, dude, if you're going to have that much negativity about, then don't do it, because I don't want you going in with such a negative attitude, because it's not going to work. You're going to fail. So you got to think that this is something you can do. And it's amazing how the power of positivity can really change your path. Because it went from, in a moment, because he said, DDP is no joke. When he says something,
positivity.
Yeah,
right
like,
there.
but when he says something, it's almost like, man, when he said that to me, it's like, now I don't want to disappoint him, because now I feel like a failure. And sometimes to my detriment, because we're working out. I was like, I want to do more weight. I want to do more reps. Like, because he's so inspirational. But it's so true. When I jumped into that water in a completely different mindset, I went from not wanting to be in it to, sitting in there for 90 seconds. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I went from not wanting to go even near it to jumping in. But that's the power of positivity. And watching that video, it's going to inspire a lot of people. And the fact that you're getting letters and cards and text messages and tweets and stuff tells you that that video, you're changing people's lives with that video. Your journey has changed people's lives, not just your own.
Have you had a chance to try the power cuffs yet?
Yes.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
At least three days. Sometimes, I do a lot of long drives, so I'll even do like curls while I'm driving with them on, just with my hand, and I can feel a difference. It's the stuff Dallas comes up with is amazing.
It really is.
I got to tell you the one, and I won't get into the elaboracy of it, but I did get a text from the Hulkster, and he was really blown away by the video, which was super. He just said some very heartfelt things, and reached back out to him. It was great to see. In one 24-hour period, we got one from Hulk, and then on Instagram, Rock wrote, "Incredible work, brother. Respect to all of you." But the one that meant the most to me, they all mean a lot to me, but number one, it's from Sylvester Stallone. And he wrote, it's up on Instagram, he wrote, "Congratulations to Butterbean, a real warrior." And then he put, "I am stunned," in capital letters, "by Diamond Dallas Page's and his extraordinary healing habits." But it's not me. It's the whole crew. It's like I said, Josh.
It's a team.
Yeah. Josh was there, and my daughter Brittany was there, making sure they got the right food and eating healthy. And Nadia, who's our Radar O'Reilly, overseeing it. All my boys who are doing the filming over, and you'll get a chance to see Change or Die, because we're talking to Amazon Prime right now about it. And then you'll get to really see the whole journey of what these 5 people went through over this time, and to see where it is at the end, because we're a production company, so we never stop. When Bean wanted to keep going, we kept going with it. Same thing with Marcus, same thing with Cece. Like, they wanted to keep going, and so we helped them all the way through. And Cece, who was the best looking woman I've ever seen at 335 pounds.
She's look good at 3. I'll be honest.
She's lost over a C note now. She just got married. She's gorgeous. She's living a beautiful, she's like a dream that she didn't think she would be in that spot.
She's getting to enjoy life better.
Yeah.
And, for you, Dallas, how does it feel for you? Because, obviously, Butterbean was saying that you're such a positive person, but how does it feel for you to see your work and the success stories based on what you've been able to do to motivate people to have it done?
I honestly, I try not to take it too seriously. I mean, I'm very thankful. And I thank God 100 times a day, but seriously, 10 times a day. Thank you, God, for so many things. And to be able to see my buddy, and Butterbean's the kind of guy, you don't fist bump him, because he fist bump, it hurts. So to see him have the smile on his face, because when you watch that video, you're going to see the grimace and the fight. And that's what I think made Hulk actually send me that text, because he could see the pain that he was in. And, well,
he can relate to it.
No, yeah, of course you can. We all, but any one of us that, from boxing to football players to rugby players, guys who ride bulls, when you get to the end, it's a hard row. And if you don't have the right ingredients, like the first thing we do, and the same thing with Jake and Scott, get them eating real food, because people really don't know what they eat. And if you go to the app and you do it, very first thing on the app, you get 7 days for free on it, is the very first thing is the list. If you do the list, change your life, right?
Without a doubt.
Because then it's not a diet. It's not a workout. It's a lifestyle that will put years on your life, but make them comfortable and energetic years that make you just feel good about yourself.
Pain-free. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Even if it's less pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so many people get so used to being in so much pain, they don't think it can change. It can. All it take, and it's really simple. We have a whole layout, from all the foods that Dave's guys ate, or we were making them for our app that has 3 different 90-day eating plans. I mean, we were making it for these guys, and my daughter Brittany was one doing all the cooking and stuff, and I do a few of them myself. But our page, we throw a couple of our own recipes in there. But the bottom line is, eat for good food and exercise. And today, you can hear the word positive, and people will say, "Oh, positive this, positive that." No, today it's science, and they call it. Just look up hope molecules, and what really means is, if you're doing some kind of exercise, you don't have to do mine. Do some kind of exercise, and you have a positive attitude. It changes you, and it's like the 5 people you hang out with. That's who you're going to be most like. It's pick your friends, carefully, because your friends can lift you up or they can rip you down.
A lot of lessons from this show, and I appreciate it so much. Butterbean, thank you so much.
Hey,
It's
I
a pleasure,
appreciate
pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for all you've done in your career.
There's a lot more to come.
But there you go. I can't wait to see
tell
it.
He drove up from Alabama to be here today. And what was your ride? How long was that?
About 3.5 hours.
Wow.
3.5 hours.
Got up at 4 to get here.
You
So.
guys.
Thank you for giving us that time, and
Hey,
thank
no
you,
problem.
thank you for sacrificing your day so our nation can learn from you. Really appreciate that a lot. Thank you.